Dark Menace. He's got a menacing force up in the top right. 4 Banelings coming into the natural base of Regret. He tries to run the drones. Will he be able to make it away? Maybe. Now that they're off creep, the answer should be yes, but the Archaic does some anti-micro there, unfortunately, and winds up not killing the Ling Bane, or just the Banes, I should say, when he originally would have. Very unfortunate there, for sure. And 2 more Banelings come in, kill even more workers. Doesn't look like we can see exactly how many. Okay, 13 drones have gone down for Regret at this point. Regret's economy is struggling, and Dark Menaces is looking fantastic as more Lings and Banelings pour into his main base as well. They're trying to just basically counter all in, but the attack of Dark Menaces here so much earlier. It's a little bit of an anti-move, I think. 2 more Immortals are on the way, and this is a strong force, especially against just pure Roach out of Dark Menace and not really many units to help. From his ally here. This Neutrophil's floating quite a bit of cash, but not quite a bit of army. The Immortals are ravaging the Roaches as there are no Ravagers for Dark Menace. He's a little low on gas, and they catch the army. SCV Boys Pull does come out. Do manage to kill one of the Immortals here. Does the Cyclones of Neutrophil, but now the army of Dark Menace is gone. At the same time, though, just a simple 8 Marine drop has cleared out the entire economy of Regret and almost all of the army of the Archaic. And man, oh man, why aren't you chasing this corner? I mean, you've got the Cyclones in a corner. They really should have been chasing them down a little more vindictively, I think. Oh, and just pulling back the individual units that were being targeted here, I think. But we'll eventually clean them up. Dark Menace is trying to go into Mutalisk, but there's Stalkers out. This is a wild game, but the economies are so much stronger for GG Izzy that I think they'll be able to just win with their rallies at this point. Still, the Immortals can bust through that bunker like it's nobody's business. Maybe they're trying to find the Spire to prevent more Mutas from popping. I think that's a decent enough plan. But now recalling, that's dead. You're dead. You can't recall here. You just don't have enough economy behind it. I mean, it's 50 workers for Dark Menace still to a combined 7 for the entire team. So it's really 70 workers to 7 right now. That is 10 times the economy here for GG Izzy. And yeah, you just can't recall. I think needed to trap those Cyclones a little bit quicker. They were able to get a lot more units than they had any right to. I mean, they were literally sitting in a corner and they just kind of let them sit there, move forward, lock on, run back, and they just didn't chase them down for an odd amount of time. I think a decent compositional choice here, but slacking off a little bit on microing against the Banelings, and just not the best chase down on those Cyclones. I think another great choice would have been to just go double Stargate Phoenix behind your proxy Stargate, but yeah, now GG's is called. So unnecessarily this whole time. I think maybe this reads like an all-in that they've practiced a little bit more in customs than they have in 2v2s. Just the execution, and this is something a lot of players run into. You're just not quite sure how to actually execute your build here. And again, they're going up to try and kill Neutrophil. Go kill Dark Menace. Every time they clean up the army, and then they're like, and now I'm going to throw mine away into Shield Battery Overcharge against Void Rays. I don't know. It's not going to work. Surely at this point you have to know that you got to go for the other player here. They are going for him again, but it feels like every time they do it, it's after that person has managed to rebuild their economy, get out some units, and it's late enough into it that they're not able to get as much damage as they would have been able to achieve if they'd just gone for it immediately. Still, they are managing to depower these batteries on the low ground again, but why are you... Please don't run past those probes in the natural base. They're running past the probes in the natural. Kill the probes in the nat. There we go. Okay, they're doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's wild. Lots of Stalkers out now, though, but Lings do counter Stalkers pretty heavily. The overcharged Void Rays, though, very strong against the Stalkers of the opponents, and I think they've run out of steam here. I think this is a stable game now for GG Izzy. A stable game is, and they do better against them than the Stalkers themselves do. And so they can kind of buffer and allow those Stalkers to be in the back, getting damage done. Oh, but great target fire thus far out of out of neutrophil on those Void Rays, I will say. Battery Overcharge hasn't been used yet, so good patience on that by the Archaic. And by patience, maybe he forgot it, maybe it's patience, who knows. I'm going with patience. We need to see it popped now, though, or else it's not patience. Okay, it was patience. Good. And, I think we are going to see the Protoss players from the top left. GG Izzy coming from the top rope will be able to take down codayo here as the armies are melting and GGs are called. You could be pre-splitting there, or even stemming your Marines as the Zealots get on top and already stutter stepping back. But every time it misses, though. Oh, it's so unfortunate. Does he not have enhanced shockwaves? He doesn't. That might be the difference between that EMP landing. It was like right on the edge. He's going too heavily into the Marine production, I think.
Oh my
Still does catch a lot of the Zealots on the front, but yeah, I think the Archaics just got the better handle on a macro game here. And the difference between this series and the series against Cyan that we're really seeing is Kriminal's not getting damage done. He had a good economy here, but he still had a much bigger advantage against Cyan because he's killing 30 probes. Sure, his economy's not as big, but Cyan's was, you know, really, really damaged. And in this game, even if you have a better economy than your opponent, it's not enough of a difference to still put him in that same kind of super commanding position where you can just eat storms and win. Yeah, I think you got to be frustrated after this game, though. I mean, your third CC build goes off without a hitch.
Well, the other thing is, the Protoss gave you 4 Colossi. You should be winning this game, but he's been throwing away units, like we've seen, right? So.
Yeah, throwing away units and just not hitting the EMPs. They're hard to hit, and obviously was not able to hit them. And that's got to be pretty frustrating. And yeah, I mean, your third CC build goes off without a hitch. Sure, you take a bad storm, but then you kill 4 Colossi for free. You're definitely feeling pretty good, but then, you know, more storms, more Colossi, and can't hit those EMPs. But I think part of that is you got to have that enhanced shockwaves. GG's going to be called, though.
There you go. I don't have a chance to be right with my prediction anymore. But you might be wrong, only because he might 3-0 here.
They even killed a couple probes, I think. So not many, but every little bit helps. And now the Oracle's gone as well. And that's that Oracle tax. Once you get out a certain number of Vikings, they pretty much are always going to get a volley off on the Oracle when it goes for Revelation, even if you're not microwave.
Did he throw this game? I think he threw it a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, just now adding on. I mean, it's funny, what should have been really bad with those the Hellions turned out to be really good, but at the same time, I feel like the Archaic didn't really react to it as quickly as he should have. He had a Stalker out, but he brought it over here, you know. The Archaic has really good builds, but he's a little static on the builds, I feel, right? Like, the Stalker's supposed to go across the map, it went across the map, and he didn't bring it home to defend those Hellions.
This is risky, man. He's sending everything to go attack on the other side.
Now, I think he's got to feel like he's way behind, even though he's not. It's hard to know, right? Because you
look, this is funny. He even has an SCV here, which you can put a turret here.
That's hilarious. He's building a depot. Oh man, it's a good thing that the Archaic broke his own wall off that he made, because if that was not broken here, those probes would not be able to run.
May not be. Now he realizes it because he was getting attacked at the same time.
14 probes though, and I mean he can even kill the fleet beacon, which means no more Tempest, which means Void Rays against already 6 Cyclones and double Cyclone. That's not going to go very well for you. That's I mean that's going to go down, which means he's only going to be able to make Void Rays until he remakes it. This is a crazy comeback. When we were talking about frustration from the previous game, I feel like you got to be frustrated as the Archaic here in this game.
Oh, man.
So the turntables a little bit, and now there's no mining.
Yes, I think, Well, ET. You know what happened in several games. We've seen many games, I mean, in other sports where you're on the brink of winning that one clinching game and you lose, and then the other team comes back, and then this happens. So, you know, remember, Kriminal was the favorite here. So it's not inconceivable for him to do a reverse sweep.
It's not. It's not. Holy cow.
Okay, well, we got a series.
And those have 2 storms each. So that's 4 storms.
Okay, this is it.
Well, maybe. Kriminal is deciding right now if it's it. So we're just waiting.
2 more tanks, man. If he pulls this off, I mean, this is really it. This can decide the finals.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like this composition out of Kriminal, but like I said, this build, I mean, it may win here just because of the super heavy commitment the Archaic went with into the main base on defending against drops. But in theory, this build is one that you should wait with and not go directly in like he has done here.
He didn't do it right.
Big storms. Not big enough, though. He needs to storm again. The Marines have clumped up now, and he's not shooting that storm. I think Kriminal's done it.
Yes, he's done it, man. And I'm going to call it. The reason I say that is Snowball. This is just an 8 move almost, right?
Yeah, with
17
the tanks.
supply. Actually, 36 now with the warp, with the new warpins.
Yeah, and I mean, if we really look at it, right, he's got a third base going down already. He drops 3 more cannons and 2 shield batteries.
Yeah,
that's the difference between having your 10 gateways you should have to be able to spend all this money that the Archaic's got and not.
Yeah.
So those cannons completely killed him here.
Yeah, you're probably right there.
I'm all for, you know, play into your weaknesses. I talk about this in the 2v2s, you know, teams that aren't great against that multi-prong get static defense. That's later on into the game. And that's when you are bad at it. The Archaic shut down the drops in the previous games, right? So there was really no reason to think he needed it here. Still, storms are big. He's been doing a good job of thinning out that siege tank count, and it's pure Marine still. He's not making many Marauders, so the Archaic's composition is decent against what he's going up against here. Thermal Lance is not out yet, but it is double Colossus. There are a lot of Vikings, but Shield Battery Overcharge, do we see it?
Storm.
We do see Shield Battery Overcharge, but I think he's going to be able to push through just barely. And, yeah, I mean, 150 supply to 60.
We're going to get a game 5.
Kriminal did delay those tanks. I got to wonder, though, you could have, like, 5 tanks here with that delay on the build time, right, that he had. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm not sure how that goes for you. Okay, so there's a High Templar out. He does have out a few Zealots. The siege up is pretty far back, and he can cancel that third. Okay, so he does cancel it. He's adding on 2 more gateways, so he is going up to 6 gates. That's going to be a lot of Zealot production, which is nice.
Now, though, he needs to get going. Oh.
They are, but he's kind of just waiting for that storm opportunity, because once those Marines are cleared out by the storm, if there's nothing to cover the tanks against charge lots, okay, so 1 tank goes down, most of the Marines go down. You can't just push in here. Like, sure, he has no units, the Archaic, but you don't have stim, so it's not like you can go, he has no units, and stim in. You can slowly kind of walk in.
Oh, no, there's a Banshee,
but there's no F2. Yeah, there's a Banshee, there's no F2. I mean, he has 3 Stalkers in the main base. He's just not F2ing those, right?
Yeah, he needs them there.
Didn't get a shield battery, I don't think, in the natural base. No Immortal as well.
Just do or die. You gotta go down there. You can't get this canceled. It's game over.
Yeah, at the same time,
he's giving it up.
If he can get out of Colossus, it's decent enough, but a good position here for Kriminal, and I think he's going to be able to close it out. And
yeah, 2 Banshees.
Feels rough for the Archaic. I mean, he had exactly what he needed to win this game, but just he didn't have 2, so he doesn't have his full army. Doesn't warp in more Storm. I mean, he's still floating 1,000 gas. He can have another 3 High Templar, and I'm not sure why he doesn't. I mean, I think he's still nearly got 2 Storms on this one High Templar. Oh, big storm.
Beautiful.
Okay.
That's a good storm.
Massive storm. That might be enough to break out. Holy cow. I mean, I'd never in a million years could have pictured that much damage happening.
The problem is the Banshees.
It's true. He does have those Banshees still, and the Stalkers, I guess, did die. Indeed, they did. And slow warpins as well. He does manage to get the feedback, but GG. And I think, yeah, KJ, he's just not sure what to do. He's splitting his army a bit, so that's good. Oh, and Kriminal's BCs might get found by the Thors. Does Kriminal know where this army is? I don't think he does. KJ knows where his army is, though. Good damage going down by the Thors initially. Will they get that single BC at the front there? A couple disables. So, oh, and several of the BCs getting absolutely annihilated by the high impact payloads. Should make it out with these other 2 as well, I think. Oh, no, he won't. Not warping away. I think he had it up, but they were disabled originally, so that is a lot of BCs going. Doesn't have that many Ravens here, so he's going to disable... Oh, no, he's just going to drop turrets. He's going to drop Trow, as Pig would say. I think a couple disables might have been more value. He does kill 1 tank, though. KJ now sieging out the tanks. And Thors, they don't take a ton of splash damage. They do take a lot of that heavy single target damage, but I think the Thors will be able to push through. And even if they can't, KJ doesn't mind inefficient trades at this point in the game. He's so far up in the economy. And Kriminal even making Widow Mines because they're just really cheap, I think. But obviously not super great against Thors, as they do push through yet another base of Kriminal. Kriminal's trying to siege up, but it's in the face of the Thors. So many of his units getting taken down, and only 50 supply remaining. KJ at 160 with a ton of production, 4 more command centers coming down, and 120 army supply remaining. GG is called. And Kriminal, I mean, he's just now making a couple medevacs. I don't think he has any out still. 1 medevac out, 2 more on the way, so that's not too bad. But KJ, he's definitely pulling ahead here, and with those Liberators, will he go in here? Oh, KJ, come on. There we go. Does do the mobile unloading, but only 3 Marines. Okay, he's going to go drop right in the main base. Oh, and this Reaper might even get a kill on the 3rd base. Pulls the whole army back, does KJ with this double drop. Will this Reaper? Oh, no. The Reaper just killed that 3rd base. Holy cow. MVP Reaper. How many kills does that Reaper have? Let me see this. Only 2. Okay, whatever. Never mind. Forget about him. He's unimportant. Nobody likes him. Anyways, double drop in the main base kills 15 SCVs as well, and because of this choke, he's actually trading pretty well against the Marines of Kriminal, who just walk in and eat lead, as they say. An excellent trade for Freedom, who is now doubling the supply of his opponent. And Kriminal, I gotta say, he's kind of in shambles at this point, I think. Freedom's coming across the map. He's up 40 supply, and just a very nice game out of him thus far. Not the best Liberator siege, I'll give you that, but I think it'll get the job done here as the Liberators are on top of the tanks, the Marines are on top of the tanks. There goes the army of Kriminal, and I think there goes the game. He's going to try to hold here, but it is a desperate situation at a 1/3 of the supply of his opponent, just about. Liberator even finding yet another tank. Oh, it actually shoots an SCV. Does get a shot off on the tank, though. Will unsiege. And KJ is going to meticulously push in. GG is called. Liberator going out, tanks going out, Vikings going out. KJ's going for it. He's going for it harder than a boy asking to crush out the prom or something like that. I don't think they actually do that very hard. I think they usually do it very timidly and without much effort. But anyways, Banshee is spotted. There's a Viking here, though. And Liberator on top of those 2 tanks will force the unsiege, or we'll just kill them. Okay, it does force the unsiege. We'll kill a tank and damage the other, which means these 3 tanks are going to get right on top. And whenever you're making Banshees, you're not making Vikings, so they say. They is me. I say that. You're not making Vikings when you're making Banshees this early on in the game, which means your air superiority ain't happening. At the same time, though, Liberator does get turreted. Bet you didn't think of that one. Liberator does have to move back a bit. SCV's here to repair, though. Love it, KJ. Attention to detail. Very nice. Raven, as, what's his name? CTG? CTG would say. Ravens. But now 3 tanks in the Nat, and there's 1 tank behind the Nat. But the Nat is not long for this world, and I think we might actually see a Swift 3-0. Granted, Kriminals come back from worse positions. Today, even. But this is a very bad spot. And that tank will barely make it out with very little HP. And a story that he'll tell his grandkids for a long time. Probably not a long time because he's about to die. So, a questionable period of time. An amount of time, he will tell them. Granted, SCV pull actually kind of good here because there's like no units on the ground for KJ, but I don't think you can afford these losses here necessarily. And has not cleaned up the tank even. More SCV boys pull on the way. Raven going to drop an auto turret, but the Vikings now landing as well because they're like, there's not much to do up here. Oh, it doesn't even manage to kill either of those tanks. That's so heartbreaking, and that tank will go down. I think we will indeed see a GG. GG is called, ladies and gentlemen.